So Mazel Tov to Aryeh Refoel. He should grow to be a great Talmid Chochem and a great Tzaddik and an Erech Yid. So the topic we will be discussing today is so relevant and so negeya. It is Vezchar לחורבן and וזכר למקדש. So let me just share with you a thought, which I spoke about today in a shiur that I gave. Remembrance is something very fundamental in Yiddishkeit. A Jew always lives in the past. To us, the past is never past. The past is always present, and the past leads us directly to the future. A Jew looks back to derive strength and emunah and betochen, while his eyes are fixed on the horizon, waiting to see Alois HaShachar, Shachar Shel Moshiach. So we are on one hand to remember our days of glory. We have a mitzvah d'oraisa to remember Yetzias Mitzrayim, to remember Ma'amad Har Sinai. We also are to remember the days of tragedy. And those are the 4 fast days. Tzom HaRavi, Tzom HaChamishi, Tzom HaShvi, Tzom HaAsiri. What are the days about? Remembering is not a goal into itself. And it is not even about rejoicing and mourning. Rejoicing the days of salvation and glory and mourning the days of tragedy. Everything comes back to Avodas Ukeil. And before Pesach, another Yom Tov, I always quote the Ramban at the end of Parshas Bo. The reason we are to remember the miracles of Yetzias Mitzrayim is just to get chizuk. Min hanisim hagedolim v'hamifrosomim od hamoide benisim hahistorim shehem yesod kol haTorah kula. The reason we need to remember Yetzias Mitzrayim, Ma'amad Har Sinai, is just to strengthen our emunah, our betochen, our hope. And the Rambam writes, Perekei Halacha Aleph Afilchas Ta'aniyos, Yesh Yom Yomim, Shekol Yisrael Mis'anim Behem, Mepnei Hatzarot She'ir'u La'avotenu, La'orer Alavavos Leftoyach B'darkei HaTshuva. The Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't need our mourning just for the sake of mourning. Kadosh Baruch Hu wants us always to be happy. Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha. The reason we are to remember tragedy and mourn is just try to be better. Try to rectify what you broke. Try to build what you destroyed. And that is why we need to remember and fast in these tragic days. So in these days, we all need to try to be better. And these days are designated La'orer Alavavos Leftoyach B'darkei HaTshuva. So let's embark on our journey tonight. The fundamental sugya is in Bava Basa, Daf Samach Umid Beis, HaRav Beis HaMikdash B'Shniya. After we realized that the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed twice in the very same day, Rabu Prushim B'Yisrael, Shelo Yelech al Bosa V'lo L'shtot Yain. Tonu Rabbanon. Nitva lehem Reb Yeshua, Omer lehem Bonai, mipnei mei yetom oichlon bosa ve'inatem shoisim ma'ayin omrim lo, noichel bosa shememenu makriven al gabe mizbeach, ve'achshav botehem. How could you drink wine shemenaschan al gabe mizbeach ve'achshav botehem? Omer lehem im ken lechem lo noichel shekva botli menochais. Efshe be'peretz, peretz lo noichel shekva botli bikurim. אפשר בפסח מים לא נשתה שכלבות לנסח המים. אומר להם בוני, בואו ואומר לכם, שלא לסבל כל עיקרי אפשר שכבר נגזר גזרה, ולסבל יויסה מדי אי אפשר, שאין גויס גזרה על הצבא אלם כן, רוב הצבא יכול למאמן בו. כך אמרו חכמים, סעדו דם ביסר בסידו משיים בידו ומועט, עמו על עמו, כנגד הפסח, אוי סודם כל צורך הסודם משייד אברנועת, כסה דהרסנן, אוי סישה כל תכשיטר משיירס אברנועת, צידו. So the Chachamim will metaken 3 takanas, וזכר לחורבן, in your home, on your table, your meals, and tachshit noshim. Only 1 out of the 3 has become a halacha l'daitis, and that is the וזכר לחורבן. Sa'adam beisai, umaniach boi, tefach al tefach. Besid. Not many people are makbid in this halacha, but I think one definitely should. So in some homes, there's a picture of the Kaisel, a beautiful painting of Yerushalayim. No. Shulchan Aruch makes it very clear. Let's scroll down and see the Sif in Shulchan Aruch. Let's see what the Shulchan Aruch has to say. Mishachar beis hamikdash tiklan chachomim shoy beis hadashem boinem liyolim binyam mesuim demekuy kabinyam alachim toch beisoy betit besad besid mishayim mokamam alama keneged pesach below sin. And this is what one should do. When you rent a house, you're not mechuyev. But if it's your house, you should. In my home, and many of you visited my house, right at the entrance, I have an amo al-amo in which the paint is totally scratched off. But around the amo al-amo is a frame of wood, and it makes it striking, the contrast. There's a wooden frame around the amo al-amo, which gives it, first of all, it's obvious, and it's also appealing to the eye. It's like a frame, as if we planted it on the wall, but you need to have an amor amazechalachor. Regarding food, we don't know exactly what to leave over, and the same with tachshit and noshim, because the woman's tachshitim have changed and transformed 1,000,000 times. So we don't know what it is to leave out, and we don't know exactly what dish to put off the table, because these things have changed dramatically 1,000 times since the days of Chorban Beis HaMikdash. And therefore, what we're left with is the amo al-amo. And I definitely think people should be makbid in leaving the amo al-amo. So those are 3 fundamentals. But there are many more. Soita Memtes Amud Aleph. If we could just scroll down, let's have a look at the Shulchan Aruch, first of all, at the Bialocha, the Mishnah Berurah regarding the din of Amo al-Amo. So some people are Mekel, and I do not think there's any reason to be Mekel. Bezmanenu lo inahagu l'shayer. Interesting, in the days of the Mishnah Berurah in Europe, very few people were Mishayer. ואפשר דווקא במין הסיד, הנקרא גופס, שהוא לא וביוסר עשו, מה שאין כן סיד שלנו, כל זה דוחק. צורך יין על מה נהג נטו, ואיך שתוך בתית לבד לכולי עלמא אין צורך לשאר כלל. But in our homes that we have beautiful paint, as white as the snow, one should definitely leave an amo al amo, and the Mishnah Berurah doesn't justify. Regarding tachshit noshim, tzorech yirun shekol ze eino hagen klal, quoting the Chayodam and Biur Hanoch. Let's scroll down to the Gemara and Soita. Bepalmos shel Asposianos, that is the days of Chorban Bayis Sheni. Goes on a Torah's Chasana Vala Irus, Bepalmos shel Titus goes on a Torah's Kalis. Vishalay Alamed Odemis Benoyavonis, Bepalmos Uachen, Shalay Teitza Kala Ba'pirium Betoichu Iyo. So once again, we don't have any Torah's Chasanim, and we don't know exactly what does a Torah's Kalos mean? And therefore, once again, even though these are Xeris we find in the Mishnah, they're not really relevant to Bismanasa. I want to skip just for a few moments the other din in Saita, and let's have a look at Even Ezer Samachay, because this is a meaning that we do perform today. So Lechlos Eifer B'Rosh HaChosen B'Mokom Anuchas Tefillin Zeicher La'avedes Yerushalayim Tichsiv Losum La'avedes Yen Pe'er Tachas Eifer. And we do that before the chuppah, either the father, many times the Rav, and we actually quote the pasuk, Losum La'avele Tzion Pe'er Tachas Eifer. The Ramah brings Yesh Makom Mishenagu L'Shavakos Achar Sheva Bruchos, and that is also a meaning in Ashkenaz. The Sfardim don't do it, but Ashkenazim do. Right after the chuppah, the chosen steps on a glass and shatters it. Zeh minig noyeg b'medina selu shechosen shoyver atlisha mavochan ala bechaselusin. V'kol makom lefim min ha'aday. So our minig is not the kais on which we said the bracha, but anyway, it is the minig. So we find two minhagim in Even Ezer Samachay, and these are two minhagim that we do perform. Karpas, the minig is to eat the egg at the beginning of the Seder. Quoted the Shechanoch and Tov Ayin Gimel, and we scroll down, and then we're going to scroll back up to talk about music. Nagu b'bosa v'beitza. And the Mishnah Brura brings various different reasons why we eat an egg. Yesh shekosvo. Mishum de'oisamon of Zechar Avelis Beis HaMikdash She'einu niyachoy l'ma'akrav korban pesach. So what is obvious is, dafke in the height of our simcha, in the most joyous moments of our lives, we make a Zechar Avelis. No night is as magnificent as Leila Seder. And Leila Seder, you use the most beautiful kelim, the most beautiful dishes. And it is anticipated for weeks in advance, and that is when we make a Zeicha La'avelis. And at the same by a chuppah, the most joyous day, usually in the life of an individual, is his chasana. That is when we break it clean. That is when we put Eifer B'Rosh HaChosen. Brochas Lamed Aleph, and we're almost at the end of our list, and then we're going to deal at length with the Isser of Klei Zemer. Brochas Lamed Aleph, Omer Rabbi Yochanan Meshiv Reb Shum Beichoy, Osa Lo'odom She'amar Aschok Piv B'Yodem Azeh Shenemar, Az Yamolei Schok Pinu Il Shoinenu Rino. Eimosai Bizman She'yoimru B'Goyim Higdal Hashem La'asei Sameila. Amra Olav Arishloka Shaliyam Avla Mila Piv Schok B'Yodem Azeh. Michi Shama Rabbi Yochanan Rabbi. So, yes, that is another halacha. Asala Adam She'amala Piv Schok B'Yodem Azeh. In Minchas Osher Kroli HaMitzvah is a lengthy simon about Simcha Shal Mitzvah. And I brought about 10 or 15 different types of Simcha and mitzvahs of Simcha. And I also dealt with the Asala Adam She'amala Piv Schok B'Yodem Azeh. Do we have a shir? There are some areas in halacha in which it is impossible to define. Halachas that defy clear definition. Simcha Shal Mitzvah is one of the most important assets we have. And a person should always be the Simcha. Chasidim say in the name of the Rishon Tzaddik Rabbi Sulam Meruzhin, Mishen Nechnes Ov Memata B'Simcha, Mishen Nechnes Od Amarve B'Simcha, Ayid Afala Muzam B'Simcha. It's only a question of volume. Sometimes more, sometimes less. But a Jew needs always to be the Simcha. We're happy because we're Jews. We're happy because we're the chosen people. We're happy because of the billions that walk the face of earth. We are a relatively small people, few in numbers, but we are the people of eternity. We are Kodesh Baruch Hu's family. We're the ones shenikru bonam lemokim. So what does it mean? Excessive simcha. Letzonis. We don't do letzonis. But some deep and fundamental and basic simcha is part of Jewishness. Two sources in Shas we find that there were additional things that some Chachamim want to institute. Zeichel Averis, but Chachamim rejected. Reis Shmanim Yimshachu, that's a Gemara Shabbos Samach Beis. Omer Vidom Shmuel Ze Pleiton. Afal place in God Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava v'lo yohidu lo. So Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava wanted to answer perfume, a certain fragrance, v'lo yohidu. Tanug is mutar, simcha is osor, lo yohidu. And this goes back to the very first source in Baba Basra Dav Samach. Lis abel yosef b'dai efshar, lo lehis abel efshar. And then the Gemara in Saitis, Amachalach on the days. There were Chachamim that wanted to ask a big day Savainim. So in Yerushalayim, there's a big sect, Neshot HaShalim, women that only wear black, no other color. And that is against Divrei Chacham. Let's scroll down and see the Gemara Nida Daf Samach Aleph. So the Gemara deals with Big Tzavonim Lagabe Kesamim. The Pon Mushalas Pesyanas Gazwar Tolas Kesamim. Big Shulig Zara Big Tzavonim Omri, Hoadi Fikadela Akalat Kesmayim. So Chachamim Dafka wanted women to have the option of wearing Big Tzavonim, the Akalat Din Kesamim. So when they wanted to ask the Big Tzavonim, obviously they would only wear white. And that would be a problem with Ksavim. But Chazal also say the Yom Tov a person should buy for his wife Big Tzavonim. So there were things that some Chachamim wanted to answer, and Chachamim said no. To me, it's a big pele, minig Yerushalayim, not to have klezmerim on chasans. I don't understand this minig. Who has the authority to add on beyond what Chachamim answered? But let's leave this for another 10 or 15 minutes. We'll get back to it. First, we're going to talk about Simra, getting the Zion on the dam. Shal Chalei Lemarik v'Simra Menolan De'asa. Al Tismach Yisrael Al Gil Ba'amin. V'Shilo Yishtu Yayin. Yemer Sheichel Sheisav. Machlekes L'Shainin. What is the Shia, the song that Chachamim answered? And as he writes, the Shoirer Bebeis HaMishtois. The Isra of Zimra is only Bebeis HaMishto and not dealing with Simcha Shel Mitzvah. According to Rashi, what was prohibited was like bars, clubs, Chas v'Shalom. We don't go to these places. But the Goyim, in their holidays, they spend time in bars, in disco bars, even worse than that. And there's music that busts your eardrums, dance music. According to Rashi, that is what Chachamim answered. That's the Issa of Zimra. Tosfos on the spot, let's scroll down and see Tosfos in Masechet Gittin. Zimra Menolan De'asa perish bekinterish v'shoyre bebeis hamishtois. V'shilo yishtu yayin. But aside to the Gemara says, Mishabotlas and Edna botel shir bebeis hamishtois. Ra'ui la'achmir b'kiyoytze da'hu b'Yerushalmi da'akohen b'damech. Zimra shemis'anig b'yoysa. Shir shal mitzvah shori kigon b'shas chuppah she'oysen l'sameach chasan v'kav. The Rambam in Hilchos Taniyos.
Until the Gra can ask the question, why was this not Utzer? Midin Moshav Leitzim Liyashav. Why did we need Chazal to answer this after the Churban? sitting in a bar?
Well, I just bought a bar as an example. There are many reasons not to sit in a bar, my dear friend. I just gave an example. According to Rashi, it's bebeis hamishta. It's not necessarily a Moshe Leitzin. We don't have a comedian. We don't have a lights. We don't have any vulgarity. All we have is music. But even so, according to Rashi, that's awesome. I brought an extreme example of a bar, but there are many reasons to stay away from bars, not only the Isser of Zimra. It is a rayas and so many different isurim besides Moshe Lights. But let's have a look how the Rambam defines the Isser of Zimra, different than Rashi. וכן גזר שלא ננגן בכלי שיר, בכל מיני זמר, וכל משמיע קול של שיר עושה לשמח בהם, ועושה לשמון בפני החורבן. אפילו שיר בפה על היין אסור לשלם, ושיר לא יש ליין. וכבר נהגו כל יסור אלוהים מדיבר תשפוך עשו שיר של עדו אסלאל, וכי יועצה בהם על היין. So the Rambam, like Toysa, says, if it's a Dvar Mitzvah, it's mutar. But the Rambam differentiates between klei zemer, instruments, and shir befeh. Shir befeh is only osar al hayayin, but musical instruments is also even shalo al hayayin. So the Rambam is a machmir beyond Rashi and Tosfos. Salmas Chaim is an interesting sefer of Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld. Let me give you some background about the sefer. And I'll give you the background after we read the two lines. האם שייך איסור בכלל למגרמפון מסמר מעניוני תפילה? האם יש לו אמר הסוני בני חוקיקים או תשובו? אשרי מי שלי זה שלא לשמוע כלל. Interesting tshuva, very short, very brief, with zero sources. Doesn't bring any sources. But the question was, is there an issue when you have a gramophone? You know what a gramophone is? They're not around anymore for quite a while, a record player. I remember I was a young boy in New York, probably about 9 or 10 years old. One night, my father comes home with a huge contraption, a record player, with a bunch of records, those big round records. And he bought Moshe Kosovitsky, Ben-Zion Schenker, David Verdiger. And when we liquidated my parents' apartment a year and a half ago after my mother passed away, all me and my 6 brothers went up to the apartment. Some things were precious to everyone and we divided them with a goyro. I took a whole bunch of records. I don't know what I'll do with them. Probably nothing ever. I don't have a record player. I don't know anybody that has a record player, but it's nostalgia. So I have a bunch of big old records in my house. I wonder whether I'll ever hear any of them. So the question was, is a record player or any other instrument recorded music also? Or is it only live music? That's not really a psak. So let me tell you about the sefer. There was a Yid in Yerushalayim, his name was Shlomo Sobol. He davened every day Shachris V'Sikah together with Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld. And every day he wrote questions on a zetela and put those zetela under the talis and tefillin of Rabbi Yosef Chaim. And Rav Sonnenfeld, before he went home from shul, after he put together his talis and tefillin, and he folded his talis, saw those zetela, and he scribbled on the zetela his shuvas. So it's not really the classical shalas and shuvas that we find from Gedolim. And that is why all the chuvas in Salmas Chaim is Salmas al Shem Shloima, that is Reb Shlomo Sobol, who published the Sefer Chaim al Shem Reb Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld. That's why he called the Sefer Salmas Chaim. And these are one-liners. So Reb Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld says, let's scroll down, see more sources regarding these questions. We scroll down. Tzitz Eliezer. Umashe Moisev Koid Elisho. Im Neumar Shedin tape record kezemer bekli. Well, he doesn't even know how to write a tape recorder. Type record. Does that have a din of klei zemer? האם הוא ממש כדין זמר בקלישיה, כמו כינור והדוימה, או דרגה בין זה לשיר בפה? Is it somewhere in the middle? ונפקא מן להנויה גמיסה בכלי זמר בירושלים בחתונות כידוע. אם הוא ממש ככלי זמר אז אוסר, אם הוא פוחס מזה אז יהיה מותר. Well, so the Tzitz Eliezer brings the Salmas Chaim. שהמחבר הספר שורס הגריך זלפלד, עם מיני ירושלים חל גם כלי הגמפון, פטפון. וזה הלושן, ודאי גם זה בכלל. Well, we don't have it in our Salmas Chaim. Doesn't write גם זה בכלל. אשרי מי שיכול. So, I want to go down 5 lines and have some of the background of this takana, not to have music in Chasanis Yerushalayim. יש עדיין לא ימשך לא יעשה תקונה לא יחלה גם על הטייפ, מכיוון שזה לא היו עדיין בזמנם של הגויים מקדש ומבריסק, שתוקנה אז, כפי שנזכר בספר סלמס חיים חלק א' עין זין, ואין לא יסף על הדסיירו. So let me tell the story of this takana, but let's scroll down. I want to see what are the coming sources. But we scroll down a bit. Yeah, Divrei Yatzav, a lengthy tshuva. And the Divrei Yatzav doesn't deal with chasanis. But the Isser of Zimra, is the Isser of Zimra only klei zemer or recorded music as well? In my opinion, recorded music is not the same as klei zemer at all. In the modern world, every sensible person can differentiate between going to a concert, which is an event, which is an affair. Pay a lot of money to buy a ticket to go to a concert or to a dance hall. Recorded music, we hear all the time. You get into the car, everybody listens to music. Baruch Hashem today, so many people, thousands, tens of thousands, listen to Shirei Torah instead of Goyish music or even Jewish music. You sit in a dentist's office, there is background music. Wherever you go, there is music. Recorded music in no way is a manifestation of simcha. You enjoy music. Enjoyment is not simcha. Simcha is rejoicing. So in my opinion, there is no issue whatsoever in recording music. So let's talk a few minutes about Minig Yerushalayim, which to me is such a teime gedola. So the Minig Yerushalayim is not to have music and chasanis. Who made this Minig? Tzitz Eliezer writes the God Makalish. That's the Imri Binu. HaRav was off in Kalish in Poland. The Saf Yoma became to Yerushalayim. The reason he made this takana was not Chorban based on Megiddos, but rather Taroivis Anoshim V'Noshim. Klezmerim came to town, and there was music. And in the old city of Yerushalayim, people never heard music. So women and men all used to rush to every chasana, and there was priestess. Women and men betaroivis. And it is only because of the priestess that Meir Oyabach prohibited having klezmerim, live music at chasanas. When they told Reb Shialei Diskin, and he's the Gaon Mebris, not the son of H family, quoted by them, Tzitz Eliezer. And the brisket of Reb Shialei was told that Reb Meir Oyabach gave out a takana, Issa not to have klezmerim at chasanas. Reb Shialei said, Kedayu beis Elokeinu. We shouldn't have music at chasanas. But that was not the reason of the takana. So let's scroll down because I want to make a powerful comment and argument. Let's scroll down and see some more sources. Down, down, down. The Divrei Yatzav fundamentally is makel, but he writes, one wants to be machmir, yesh mokum lahachmir, but Al pi halacha, fundamentally is maker. Okay, here we are, Shulchan Aruch. Sifin Hilchos Shabbos. Yesh matirim lo mela'akim lenagim b'klei shir b'chupis. There was a minhag to have the chupis Shabbos. And Suda Shabbos was the Suda Sachasana. Yesh matirim lo melagoy lenagim b'klei shir b'chupis. The Ramo writes, Afil lo melagoy letakan ha'kli shir is mutar. Mishum kohen chosan v'kala. Aval b'la v'chiyosa. Mi'u b'zman hazeh nago lo kol. And why nago lo kol? The Levush quotes the Tunas Adeshin. Amir Anochri Mamokom Mitzvah Mitzvah She'en Simchas Chosam Akala Below Klei Shir. That's the Maril and Eirovin. Elio Zuta quotes the Maril. Awesome. Kosam Maril Chaseirovin. Im Yesidu Shalom Nagam Klei Shir. Lo Yasun Asuin Beli Klei Zema. Ika Simchas Chosam Akala. Im Yefshem Amkoy Men Yechol Amokom She'efshar. The Maril writes, when the government prohibited Klei Shir, travel far away to make a chasana. Ikar simchas chosam v'kala. And like the Levush writes, Ein simchas chosam v'kala b'bli klei zemer. And Chachomim were matir amir l'nochri, not only to have goyish musicians, even to be metaken klei shir, ein simchas chosam v'kala b'li klei zemer. So I wonder if the Gemara in Baba Basta says, "Lesabel yosem edai I efshar, lo lesabel I efshar, ein lanu ela masha tiknu chachomim." And even in the days of Chazal, there were some chachomim that were to add on additional prohibitions, and they were rejected. So who has the authority after 2,000 years to make a new takana mishum zecher l'chorban? I wonder. So I made 3 chasanis in Yerushalayim and we had no music. Minig Yerushalayim, I don't have the power to be mevatel minig Yerushalayim. But I do say it's a pele b'yaina, and therefore, not all communities were mekabel this takana. The Sfardim have music. Yet Hasidim have music. Many Americans have music. When I come to a chassan in Yerushalayim, there's live music, it makes me very happy. I wouldn't do it, but it makes me very happy. So recently I had a shaila, the chosin is an Ashkenazi, yeshiva, boilit yeshiva, the kala is a Sephardi. I told the chosin, you have no right to deprive the kala from music. The Sephardim weren't mekaber the stakala, and achnosas kala, it's not only your simcha, it's primarily the kala simcha, ketzad merakten lefnei kala, you should have music. I don't like this minhag at all. However, I don't have the power to say differently, but I wonder if Chazal said, Ein lahoisef, what's the authority after 2,000 years? Especially this takona had nothing to do with chorma mais. It had to do with taroivis, with men and women mixing with each other, mingling with each other. It was only with the evidence, Shuleb said, it's not what Rameh Orbach had in mind. So this is just a brief discussion. Regarding the general issa of klei zemer, I think we had the Shulchan Aruch at the beginning of our source sheet. Could we scroll down a moment before we scroll back up? I don't have the sources before me. Where do we have the halacha of klei zemer? Scroll down, just a moment. Maybe it's here. Yeah.
Sif Gimel.
וכן גזרו שלא נגגן בכלי שיר וכל מיני זמר וכל משמיע קול של שיר לשמח בהם. יש אומרים דווקא מי שלא דבר, כגון אמר לכם שאומרים דמשך בכלי שיר בביס המשתה. But the Mechaber, in the footsteps of the Rambam, the Mechaber asks, not only bebeis hamishta, not only rogel. So Sfardim have a problem with music. Ashkenazim yesh lahokal. And my understanding, when the Ramo writes yesh oimrem dafka misha rogel behem, kigan hamalochem shoyim demishert mateshir, doesn't mean your daughter practicing. Of course, when a person practices, he's rogel. It is only like malachim, like the kings, the princes, nobility. They get up in the morning and the fiddlers, they go to bed and the goyish fiddlers are feeling their obebeis hamishta. I am a big Michael in music because I think in our days it is so important. And maybe even according to the Shulchan Aruch, if it's primarily l'devar mitzvah, boys and girls that learn how to play instruments, what will they do with their talent? I mean, 90% of what they'll do is playing by chassan, is playing by bar mitzvahs, it's l'devar mitzvah. And if it's muter l'nagen l'devar mitzvah, obviously it's muter to learn how to play instruments, because if you don't practice and you don't learn how to play, how are you going to play? Eliyahu Novi doesn't come in the middle of the night to teach anyone how to play the flute or the violin or the piano or any other instrument. So Ashkenazim definitely yesh mokum lahokal, and I am ekel even for Sfardim, because primarily it's all about the Bar Mitzvah. Many Rabbonim have different opinions, and many Asa. I think it's so important in our day and age to be mekel. There are so few activities that our children could engage in. And music has such a real impact on Nefesh HaAdam. I heard from my Rebbe many times, from the Heilige Kloisim of the Rebbe, quoting this in Sefer, which to me was always a pele. It's always a pele. But the Kloisim of the Rebbe used to say that Heichal HaNagina is next to Heichal HaTorah, and the Sam Sefer said he would give away 50% of his Torah to learn Chochmas HaNagina. To me, it's a pele. I wouldn't give away 1% of my Torah to learn Nagina. But anyway, yes, music enriches one's soul. Music enriches one's neshama. And therefore, I think this is not a sugya in which we need to look for chumras, but rather for kulas. So according to the Ramah, definitely there's mokum la'okum, because the Isser is only kigon malachim sha'oimdim v'shoichim v'kleshiro b'beis hamishta. Even according to the Shulchan Aruch, the objective fundamentally is a devar mitzvah. And our sons and daughters, youngsters that learn to play music, most of them have no intention to be rock stars, chas v'sholem. What will they do with this talent? Either in family gatherings, sudas eidoya, bar mitzvah, chasanis. So, it's all about the heilige Yiddish music. So it is a sugya in which I am mekel. Let us scroll down. And I think after Zechel HaMikdash, let us have a brief discussion about after Zechel LaChorban. Let's see what we have, Zechel HaMikdash. So we brought 7 different sugyas that are Zechel LaChorban, and we briefly dealt with most of them. So I think Reb Moshe has a tshuva about Amar Amo, Zechel LaChorban, and he also brings the meaning that the Mishnah Berurah brings. But I think ultimately, Reb Moshe is of the opinion that one definitely should have a Zechel LaChorban. Reb Moshe is somewhat mekel in maybe having a black blotch, hashcharata ama b'tzeva, and he brings some that are mekel, lav dafka scratching off the paint. So Reb Moshe is mara mokum lahakel, but I think alocha lamaisa, like the Mishnah Berurah writes, we need to follow the Shulchan Aruch. Scraping off the paint, ama al ama. In my eyes, it just makes your house more beautiful. What is beauty? As the saying goes, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. And in the eyes of our beholders, the beauty of your home should have a Zechar LaChorban. It'll only enhance the beauty of your home. So as I said, around my Zechar LaChorban, there's a wooden frame. Maybe I'll show it to you in a few minutes. Let's scroll down and talk about Zechar LaMikdash. When we make a Zechar LaChorban, we should also remember and daven and hope that these tragic days will be transformed. Where do we find Zechar LaMikdash? The most obvious one is Lulav Kol Shiva. Lulav Kol Shiva Menatayr is only b'Mikdash. In all the other places of the world, Mitzvah Lulav is one day. Not to remember the Chorban, but to remember the Mikdash. And that is also Koirech. In the days of the Beis HaMikdash, Hillel, Koirech, Pesach Matzav Amora Boicha B'Yachad, and Beleila Seder. On one hand, we eat an egg. The egg is Zechar LaChorban. On the other hand, we eat matzah and mora together, which is Zechar LaMikdash. Some of you will be surprised to learn the Gemara Menachos Daf Samach Vav. Sviras Uoima B'Zman Hazeh, Zechar LaMikdash. Minatayra Sviras Uoima depends on the Korban Oimar. And there's only a mitzvah Sviras Uoima when we have the Korban Oimar and Zechar LaMikdash, Sviras Uoima. So the three Zechar LaMikdash we quoted are halachas Kol Beis Yisrael. Each and every one of us is noitel lilav Kol Shuva. Each of every one of us, Balela said that is Koirech Matzav Amora Boicha B'Yachad, and we all are Makayim Sviras Uoima. Zechar LaMikdash. Now let's have 5 additional minhagim. Some are not really noyeg bisman hazeh. Yom Daf Testament Beis. Mi yakir Yerushalayim lo hi yeshenim kol halayla kedei sheyishmeku ein gadol kol havora v'lo yiteshen achlat v'soy. Abba Shua lo yomer af b'gevuren ha'yoisiken Zechar LaMikdash. So Yakir Yerushalayim didn't sleep all night. Yom Kippurim, kedei sheyishmeku ein gadol kol havora v'lo yiteshen achlat v'soy. They used to be up all night. And Abba Shul says, they were up all night and they weren't Isaac B'Torah. And therefore, the source of meaning was not broadly accepted. Better go to sleep by night, get up on time in the morning, down like a mensch. HaRav. So the minig of Azava is also Zechar LaMikdash. And that is the minig we all have. I'm a Shana Rabba. Not an HaRav b'Yomeseh, melvad HaRav shebelilav. We don't say a bracha because it's only a minig. Nagu sheshamish beis HaKnesses maybe HaRav elemkor, kamo she'oiva minig b'zman shebeis HaMikdash kayim. So the minig of HaRav is Zechar LaMikdash. Let's have a look at the Rambam. בכל יום ויום היו מקיפים את המזבח ולולביהם בידיהם פעם אחת ואומרים אנו השם השיענו. ביום השביעי מקיפים את המזבח 7 פעמים. וכבר נהגו ישראל בכל המקום להניח טבע באמצע בית הכנסת ומקיפים אותו בכל יום כדרך שהיו מקיפים את המזבח זכר למקדש. And that is the meaning of everyday Hoshanas. We say Hoshana. And the entire community, the entire congregation, is makaf the bima, lulaveyan biyadayim. So we have 2 different minhagim, sukkahs, that are Zechar LaMikdash. Minhag HaRava and Hoshana Rabbah, 7th day, and the minhag of Hoshana is every day when we say Hoshana and we go around the bima. Ner Chanukah bebeis HaKnesses. Bebeis HaKnesses manicha bekoisel dora medlikim avocha mishlim presum enisra. But the Mishnah Berurah writes Why? Because of Doran. Tam because there's Zechar Menorah, Shemekoyme b'mikdash b'Doran. And finally, the last minhag, Sefer HaChinuch writes the minhag of Machzis HaShekel. V'achshav b'avonosenu she'en lanu mikdash v'lo shkolim, nagu kol yisur leZechar HaDover likros bebeis hakneses b'kol shana v'shana parsha zu, shel kisisa, v'shabesh ulefnei Rosh Chodesh od ha'yolam, shabesh kolam is Zechar leMikdash. And many write, Machzis HaShekel is also Zechar leMikdash. So I am assigned today Shir Me'ein HaPsicha. We started off this year. We are to remember the days of glory. We are to remember the days of tragedy. And those are Zechar leMikdash on one hand, Zechar LaChorban on the other. So let us hope it is still possible before this Tisha B'Av that we will no longer need to make a Zechar leMikdash, Zechar LaChorban only, and we will no longer need to make a Zechar leMikdash because we will have the Beis HaMikdash. Let us hope L'kiyum Divrei Hanavi Zechariyahu, Tzayim HaRavi v'Tzayim HaChamishi, Tzayim HaShvi v'Tzayim HaAsiri, Yihu leBeis Yehuda l'sosan u'lesimcha u'lemoyed tovim. I just want to keep you up one more moment. And first of all, our coming shir will only be in Chodesh Elul because next Sunday, 4:00 in the afternoon, I'm flying to Switzerland and I'm going to be in Europe. Maybe we could organize a shir from Europe. I'll be in touch with Rabbi Gaddisman, but I can't oblige in this moment. Maybe we will do it. Okay, I don't know how to.
Not well. If not, we will be zeicha to the Rav via archive. Since
okay, just so I don't know how to do this. I would like to just show you my Zechar HaMikdash, but I'm not very good at technology, so I don't know how to do this. So
the Rav just bring the computer to face the Amalam, but that's the easiest thing. Just put up.
Yeah, but I don't know. But I don't know how to turn the picture around.
You don't have to. Just turn the. Somebody want to help Rav out?
I'm using an iPad.
Just stand in front of it with it behind him.
Okay. So could you put my face on the screen?
Let's put the. You want to show us
instead of the sources? Put me on the screen.
I'm not sure we can do that because it has to be downloaded.
It is right now.
There, yeah.
Oh, there we are. Beautiful.
So let me just show you. You see that?
Yes.
That's my Zechar LaChorban. Just a wooden scratched off till the sid, but a wooden frame around it, which makes it. This is the door up to my house, and this is the Zechar LaChorban that I have in my house, which is a proper Amar Lama, just with a wooden frame around it.
So that goes all the way down. That goes all the way down to the stone. So here in America, there's three things. There's the bottom. There's plaster on top of it.
No, it's not the stone. It's not all the way down to the stone, but it's scratching of the paint. It's not all the way down to the rock.
That's plaster that we see. That is raw plaster.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Besides Toivus.
Thank you. The Rav we try.